All right, we're live with the great Cthulhu Otterface.
Hello, hello everyone. Otterface here.
um,
Yeah.
you live in Britain, right?
Yes, live in the northwest.
Yeah, because I don't know if you've seen this, but I think it was yesterday, 2 days ago, where Black Lives Matter
Mm.
did some stuff. Did you?
Yeah, I've yesterday I just finished a video on it, so it's probably gonna come out around next week. But it was yeah, it was like I mean, you could argue when it comes to like America, you could have a discussion about Black Lives Matter and all that because there are some stuff there, but like you could have that debate. But here, like Britain is one of those places where like you go out of people really go out of their way, to be like to not be seen as like racist. Like, and I mean that's a good thing. You shouldn't be seen. You shouldn't obviously shouldn't promote that kind of thing. But like we really go out of our way not to be progressive, to be like politically correct and all that. So to say we have like a problem with like black people getting shot by police, even though our police officers don't have guns, it's ridiculous. And if you look at a lot of them, like if you see them, like there's people with like really nice bags and really nice clothes and stuff, and they don't look like they've had a hard day in their lives. I mean, I can't say that for all of them, but yeah. And there was one. And so the one stop was Heathrow Airport, and I think it was another. I think it was another airport, but I think they were focusing on Heathrow. I think, and yeah, they were blocking it, and like these hardworking people who wanted to go on holidays were being like delayed by them, and shut up, phone, and yeah, and I remember seeing this other thing where where like an ambulance was getting blocked, and there was a patient in it that needed to get rushed to hospital. So yeah, I think that patient was made a swift recovery. But like, just imagine if that was like someone who really needed like medical assistance, and they got stopped by like these. Quite honestly, these really, and I hate to use the word privilege, but like these really hyper privileged people who probably have like really well-to-do parents who probably pay their rents and all that stuff, and go to do gender studies and all that stuff, and probably don't even have jobs. I mean, some might do, but like most probably don't. And yeah, it's so stupid. Like, and we don't have a systemic problem. I mean, you don't really have that in America, but like, yeah, it's really pointless. And I hate to use the word like virtue signaling, because I watched it was a champagne and something video, and he was talking about virtue signaling, and it was like, yeah, it's kind of true, because how do you know whether they're virtue signaling or not, or whether they actually mean what they want, what they mean is like what they're doing, or they're just doing it to look good. But like these people here really want to look good. These people really want a virtue signal, say like, look, we want to be part of something, because these people, like, and I've watched Sargon of Akkad's video on just this recent one. I think it only came out like an hour ago, and one of the things that he said was like, it is these like young people who have you've missed the ship on civil rights. Like, there's nothing for them to fight for, so it makes them feel like their life is meaningless and that they're not going to go anywhere. And nothing's gonna matter. They're not gonna have something to prove themselves in. So they have to like jump onto these like bandwagons. They have to jump onto these things to make themselves matter. So then they can like in the future they can talk to their polygender, demi boy, transracial grandkids. They can say like, oh, I did this thing. Oh, aren't I cool? Like, yeah, that's where I went on a bit, but yeah, it's really hard. Sorry, go on.
No, because it's kind of spreading to UK. I've kind of seen. They tried the whole feminism thing. We had like local elections here, and there was there were a few feminists from Sweden that came. I'm in Norway, by the way, if you couldn't see from my flags.
The flag, yeah.
So they came from Sweden and had like lectures, and right after there were like a bunch of people here locally who saw the light and wanted to create a feminist party, and they were even in the election, but they got less than a percentage here. So people really don't like the SJW crap and the feminism angle. So even though we're next to Sweden, we haven't really seen anything like in the UK, where you have all the universities where you have the safe spaces where on Oxford. I mean, they try to perpetuate that, and now the Black Lives Matter. I don't really get it. I mean, there's even less to complain about in the UK. You even have like health insurance and all that types of stuff, which they don't even have in the US. So, or at least to the same degree. So I don't really get why Black Lives Matter is even a thing, or even feminism.
No, I genuinely think that well, there's two ways, and I talk about this in the video I made about it, and well, I touched on one thing mainly, but like there's two things, right? It's one thing they want to be part of something. They want to feel like they matter to something, like they can contribute to something in history, because they know that they'll never be, that like everyone will eventually be forgotten, and that scares them. I guess it would scare anyone. The idea of it scares me, but well, I accept that. But these people, like, they want to be remembered. They want to be remembered and part of something so much that they will invent something. Or invent something or exaggerate it, so it's like this massive, huge problem. And this on the other one, and maybe this is a bit tinfoil hat, so it's a bit like on this point of view, but like, and it's based on the comment that I saw, and basically what the man said, he said, I think people like this. He said, I think people like this are intentionally creating some kind of hatred, a racial hatred towards people. So then that will escalate the tensions and the racial tensions, and once it's like, really, really tense, they will then step up and become the new leaders. Because now a tension will be there and something will be there for them to fight for. I mean, I know that's a bit conspiratorial, but like I have some sympathy for that, like them trying to create something in order to be something. And maybe it's down to the whole desire of feeling wanted and needed, and wanting to feel like important, like your life matters to something. But I don't know. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but I can kind of see the mentality, but I haven't really seen. I mean, Germany has a problem, and I haven't really talked to the friends I have there with what they think, but I've been talking to Germans who have been in here, who have been vacation here, and they're really fed up with that left rhetoric. But I don't know if it's just laziness, or they think or too much in their own bubble. But instead of like doing things that have already been accomplished, they could actually try to do something where things aren't that good. Like Middle East is always the best place, or Africa, and trying to actually do something instead of finding non-issues and inventing all this non-binary third gender shit that nobody really gives a crap about.
Yeah, it's all about. Oh god, I hear myself echoing. I don't know why that happened, but I'll try and fight through it. But it's all down to the need to feel. It's all down to the idea of feeling wanted, feeling needed, feeling having that desire that everything that you're doing contributes to something and impacts something. And they know, and maybe they know that the gender studies and the whatever studies, the Beyonce studies, the Harry Potter studies, they know that that's bullshit, but they just do it because it's easy. And so they go, oh shit, I've took this shit study, I've took these crap degrees, and I've got nothing out of it. Like, the best thing I'll do is have a barista at Starbucks or whatever. So they're like, oh shit, I have to do something. I have to be part of it. I've wasted my time doing this. Now I have to I have to jump onto something in order to, compensate for that and to make daddy happy. So because he's giving me all this money, and yeah, it's kind of sad. And one of the things in the video I did, well, I haven't uploaded yet. They basically said that we are going to take Britain, or we are going to, you know, something like that. We are going to take Britain, or we're going to, no, that's it. We're going to shut down Britain. Now, imagine if ISIS said that, or a right-wing, you know, a right-wing group said that, like Britain First, which is like, you know, a really right-wing, you know, political party, which has no real power. But imagine if someone like that said, we're going to shut down Britain, or I said, we're going to shut down Britain. You would look at that and go, oh my God, they want to shut down Britain. That's not the type of rhetoric that gets people together. That's the kind of thing that pushes people away. Because in my experience, shutting down, like that phrase, shutting down, doesn't have a great connotation, really. And they say, oh, we thought this was going to be the best way to do it. This is going to be the best way. We're going to block all these cars. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's not going to be the best way, because you're going to make people pissed off at you. And if you keep doing this, then you're going to make people even more pissed off at you. And it's going to get more and more worse. And whether that's the intention, I don't think it is. I like to give them the benefit of the doubt and say, I don't think it is. But it's like, you could have just set up a meeting somewhere, or protested, you know, somewhere where you're not in everybody's way. Just go somewhere, like get a meeting with someone, get a meeting with the London mayor, for example. Like, he definitely listened to them, because he's really into that progressive sort of stuff. Like, why do you have to piss off people? Why do you have to piss off people? Like, if you were in that position, you'd be like, yeah, that's a bit shit and all that. And if there was a right-wing group, or just a bunch of, I don't know, white people saying all lives matter, or white lives matter, or something like that, you'd be like, terrorists, they're a bunch of terrorists, they're blocking our roads, they're doing all this. But for some reason, they don't see that double standard. They don't see that there at all. They don't see what's wrong there. They don't see these kind of things. And the thing is, I think they think they're going to, they have power. I think they do have genuine power. Like, they try to pretend like they don't, but they really do. And so they're going to say, like, oh, we want this person to do it, or else we're going to say they're racist and all that. Like, and the thing with the UK, I think it's for most places, but like in the UK, it is the most anti-racist country, not the most, but one of the most anti-racist countries in the world. So to say that, so they whatever Black Matter says to a politician, they will like any demands or whatever, they might go through with it, because, you know, because if they don't, they'll be presented as, they refused our demands. That's typical of the cishet racist patriarchy that shoots down people, even though we don't allow our police to have guns. Yeah.
No, because I kind of compare the I mean, it kind of started in the US a few years ago with all feminist stuff, and it's kind of spread to Europe. But I don't know if you know about this, but there were like left extremist terrorist group in the 70s in Germany. The main leaders called Bader and Meinhof. It's actually a really good movie, Bader-Meinhof complex. I would recommend people watching, because my mom actually lived in Germany during that time, and it shows they have the same mentality which the left right now has now. Like you have spaces where you exclude people, and they had more drastic measures, because they bombed like a military base, they hijacked a plane and stuff like that. But it was the same rhetoric, that it was like racist and all this kind of stuff, the fascist, everything on because after the war there were a lot of police state issues, so it came from something real, but it just tumbled down and became so muddled that it lost all its meaning and just became really toxic. And then that's what I'm seeing right now. Because Lauren Southern, she did the documentary where she was trying to interview people and just documenting on I can't remember. I think it was in London or something.
Yeah.
After she did the tour in France and Germany, and she had no security escort, and that's where it was most dangerous, was when it was these anti-fascist people gathering, and when they didn't even say anything, and they went after them. They physically attacked them.
Yeah, the anti-fascists. Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, I think I remember seeing there's definitely one where I live in Liverpool as well. I remember walking past like a post, and it just caught my eye. Like it was Antifa Merseyside, and I was like, oh my god, because you see all these things. You see these things happen, like Antifa, like what happened with Laura Southern, where they were like, threatening her and all that stuff, and then she got the talking to by the police, and you think like you don't think that like it's gonna like come to you, but it does. Like the same with Black Lives Matter. I was walking just outside my work, about to walk in. I heard this chanting sound, and I was like, "Oh, what's that?" Looked around. There was like signs. There was police there, and then I heard the Black Lives Matter, and I was like, "No way! It's here! It's here! What are they doing here? Like seriously, what are they doing here?" With these far left groups, like they don't. It's amazing how little self-awareness they really have. Like the anti-fascists, but then they'll go and like they'll threaten people, and they'll beat the shit out of people for daring to have an opinion, or just standing there, like and then being recognized as, like, as Lauren Southern, I'm guessing, might have been recognized or whatever. It's really unbelievable. Like the horseshoe theory is real.
Yeah, because they get offended, and they always talk about tolerance and all that crap. But you see the hypocrisy when they actually go and attack people. When they have differing opinions.
It's all for, they're all for diversity, but diversity of opinion is pretty. No, we don't want that. We want everyone thinking the same things because reasons. So. Yeah, it's crazy. It's
basically a hive mind where you're and if you're a straight white male like I am, oh God forbid, if I have something else to say.
You're a cis white male?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I should not agree to this. Okay. Anyways. Sorry, carry on. Sorry, I interrupted you.
No, because then I have the wrong opinion, because I have a dick and balls, and my skin color happens to be white. Because you just discard someone because of their skin color or gender, and that's not supposed to be sexism or racism. I don't know. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, and then why is someone getting called? Fuck off. Sorry, someone was calling me there. Anyway, so your opinion doesn't matter because you're a white man and all that stuff, and then when like women and I think, I mean, I don't mean to say like I have it worse, or I'm wanting up you, but like I think when it comes to men, they kind of have this idea that you're gonna disagree with them because you're a man, obviously, because you're part of the patriarchy. They know that you're gonna agree, but fuck off. But I think they're trolling me now. But anyway, but then with women, I think when they get more surprised at when women, or just when black people do it, because they're like, what? You're disagreeing with us? You're the marginalized person. We're helping you with soft bigotry, expectations, sort of thing. Like, and they see it as like a sort of a traitor kind of thing, kind of say sexist and racist in a way. I'm trying not to use that like as much as they would do, but like, whenever like it's a woman doing it, they will belittle the shit out of you. They will say, "Oh, you're just hypnotized by the patriarchy. You're just you're just this or you obviously doing it because you're trying to impress the man in your life and all that, and you're probably with some like dude bro who punches women in the face for fun and all that, and it's this real like it's this kind of sexism, this soft bigotry sexism that the far left bathed in, and that's the same with the black people as well, men and women, because like if a black guy dares to say, oh, I disagree with Black Lives Matter, they are ostracized, they are called Uncle Toms, and all that stuff. It's racist, but obviously racism is prejudice plus power, so they can't do that. But it's unbelievable. Like, once they will bring out the racism and the sexism on you when you disagree with them. That's when they become the racists and the sexists, because you're betraying them. You're a traitor. You are a race traitor. You're a gender traitor. All these women in the past, you've betrayed all these women who've given you the vote and all that shit. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I appreciate what those people did in the past, because they had rights, to fight for. But now, all you people protesting now about fucking mansplaining and good-looking women that you're jealous of on the streets and all that, that's not they're not rights. That's not feminism. That's just you being a really stupid person with low self-esteem and low confidence. And when you see a really skinny woman who takes care of herself and exercises all the time, while you're sitting there eating Doritos and scrolling through Twitter being triggered all day, you're obviously going to be pissed off at that. And it's ridiculous. And they're the people who say they're the tolerant ones. Oh, we like people from different points of view. We like expanding our minds. I'm like, no, you don't. You really don't. It's like Steve Shives. Steve Shives will say something like, oh, I like listening to other points of view. I like intellectual honesty. No, you don't.
Yeah, because
you absolutely don't.
I just saw your stream where you talked about you talked about the recent full Macintosh video, and I remember you mentioning that, because they claim to, like, Manidar Sarkis and all these people claim to be critics, but block like thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people.
Yeah.
Wrong thing.
Wrong thing. Yeah.
I saw from Lone Wolf. What was this? What does Black Lives Matter have anything to do in the UK? And that goes back to Black Lives Matter claim to represent all black people, and just like feminists claim to represent all females, and have this we mentality, even though you only speak for yourself or the group that's there. So that really annoys the shit out of me. And whenever there's a let's say in the US, if they're like what's the white guy who shot up the church, what's the guy's name? Roof. When he because when he shuts up a church, or it's toxic masculinity, it's white people and guns.
White America has to answer and shit.
Because that's the fault. We have to blame all white people, and it's people like the far left that always does this shit. But when they never talk about the problems that's minority criminality there, or Muslims, for example. They never touch that thing with a 10-foot pole, because it's somehow perceived racist.
Yeah, like, and then you say, like, okay, what race is Islam? Then if it's racist, what's race is Islam? You can't say that, because there are ginger Muslims, black Muslims, white Muslims, all kinds of Muslims. So whenever someone says you're right, like, I remember a few weeks ago I watched a thing that what's his name, Tommy Robinson did and he was on he was in the audience, and people were saying, like, you hate Muslims, you're a racist, and he kept saying, what race is Islam, and he kept getting drowned out by these people saying, you're a racist, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, like, yeah, because like if this was, say if like the San Bernardino thing or the Orlando thing was like, you know, a bunch of a white guy just going, I'm gonna kill all these faggots, all these gay people, yeah, it would be white America has to respond to this toxic masculinity, is violence ingrained in the biology of white people, but no, for some reason Muslims get a free pass, and to be honest. Islam, not Muslims. Islam gets a free pass. But the sad thing about this is, people like ISIS know this, are very much aware that this is how we treat it. I think they did a magazine thing before. They did a what's it called? They have their own like magazine, and they were talking about like, and I think the title was we want to kill you, and this is why we hate you, or, you know, I'm paraphrasing on that. And one thing they touched upon was that, like, they know that when a Muslim does something, the Muslims, Islam is not going to be attacked. That's not going to be touched upon because it's politically incorrect to do so. They know that this happens. And then there was another thing someone said, and it was by ISIS, and they said, don't attack people who are minorities, attack white people. Because no one will people will give a shit, obviously, but it won't be like as bad as, like, you know, there won't be like a big discussion about like, oh, minorities are hunted down or black people are like killed all the time. They're targeted. Like, and they'll say if we shoot white people, it won't matter as much because they see white people as these oppressors. The left or the progressives almost try to justify, not entirely, but obviously they'll say like, oh, this is sad and all that, but they will try and justify it. They will put the blame on something else. They won't blame the motivations behind it. They will blame they'll blame something else. And so it's kind of scary. It's kind of like the left is really, like, you know, setting itself up for failure by, you know, not addressing certain things, not addressing the fact that, like, Islam is influencing people to get to kill them, to blow themselves up, that there are communities that are just like cut off from the rest of the society, and people get kicked out of it if you're not a Muslim. They keep them to themselves in this society, and then that's what creates, you know, the radicals. That's all the radicals come into those societies, and that's how they're developed. And some of these, like, Muslims actually in these societies actually protect people like this. Like, for example, one of the Paris shooters, he went to Molenbeek in Belgium, and people were hiding him. People were like really defending him, like to the point where he could like go out and, you know, defending him to the point where he could go out and like have coffee and, you know, just do normal things. And when the riot police actually came to find him, they had to come in riot gear. Why? Because people were throwing rocks at them. People were defending the guy who just murdered a bunch of people. But no one talks about that because that's not the, you know, that's not the narrative, and it's really ridiculous. And I'd like to think it's gonna get better. I have a belief that it gets darkest before the dawn. But yeah, it's crazy. Hopefully it'll sort itself out, or something will happen anyway. And yeah, sorry, I keep going on for a bit, but.
No, I think it's good because I think the actually double mentality so far has become some sort of religion where a wrong thing and I
would
because I saw a video where someone called Mithril Shield. He's a really small YouTuber, but he had a conversation with a friend of his on Facebook. He made this video, and there he said, cause he had it was polite, it was back and forth, kind of like exchanging arguments and things like that, and then someone just a friend of the one who was having the debate with just came in and called him a racist because he had the wrong view. And this is where I'm almost to the point where I'm there as well, where he just blocked him because a sexist, a racist, or phobia, or ist, or whatever. you're only there to shut down conversation, blame someone, and shame them. You're not even interested in having a conversation. You just want to label someone and make them seem to be the worst person ever. And I'm kind of sick of it.
Yeah, it's a really disgusting use of, overuse of the word racist as well, because racist, that's a serious thing. There are genuine racists out there, and when people say racist and all that stuff, I look at them and go, where are these racists? I hate racism. I want to point me where this racism is, and I will fight it alongside you. But most of the times, racism is just synonymous with wrong opinion. And yeah, it's a really, really disgusting overuse of a very serious word. Racism, sexism, and all that kind of thing. And maybe xenophobia as well, because again, there are real xenophobes out there. There are real racists out there, real sexists out there that, no one likes. No one likes them. But to overuse this term so much, it becomes almost meaningless, and that's really sad, because we want to see, because we don't like racism. No one likes all these kind of things, and yeah, it just totally ruins the word. It cheapens a very serious word, and all that.
Yeah, if I see someone say some really racist, ignorant shit, I'm gonna call it out. If you say white people are better than everyone else, and some people deserve to be exterminated or jailed or whatever, that's fucking racist. But if you have an opinion, if you say, let's say there's a crime problem among black people in USA, hashtag not all. Or there's a Muslim radicalization problem, hashtag not all, or anything regarding if you're white and criticizing someone else or a minority, and labeled a racist because you have critical thought on so, and you're actually having the conversation and trying to find a solution. To figuring this shit out, but instead of actually having the honest discourse, you're shutting down conversation by calling someone a racist, and you're not don't want to save lives. You just want to blame everything on the white man or white woman, patriarchy, whatever it is, and not be part of the fucking solution.
Yeah, it's it's basically like personal responsibility be damned in these kind of things, like and yeah, there are problems, and there are problems in like the black community that do contribute to, like, certain things happening to people in that community, and it's kind of sad that they block every time someone says that's like immediately racist, and I'm like, well, no, not according to the stats, not according to this, and not according to this. We know that you're better than this. We know the black community is better than this, and we want to help improve your community. You want to improve society. We want to improve, because there's loads of stuff that you could improve, absolutely. But it's almost like they don't want to, because like I can't really speak for them, but like, it's almost like they don't want to, because if they don't, then their societies will improve, and they won't know, they'll no longer have a narrative. I forgot what the other thing I was going to say. Sorry, speak before what I think. Yeah, I remember now. I'm sorry, I remember now. And like when you want to when people try to point out these problems that need to be solved, like you're called like, oh, you're just the privileged white people who want to help everyone. It's kind of the same with feminists when we say, why don't we go over to like these places where they don't have like great women's rights? Why don't we come over and help them, because we've got the rights here? Why don't we go over and help them? And they say, no, we don't want it. We don't want to be arrogant and show our white privilege, or assume that our white privilege, whatever, is better than theirs. Like, they have their own culture and they can do it, and they're doing their kind of thing. And like, no, well, they're obviously doing it they're not doing very well, are they? Because they're still like, treated like shit. and nothing's really progressing. So if we came over, we actually had a collected effort to go over there and help, maybe we could do something like, no, that's the Western society trying to impede its values on another beautiful culture that loves women. And it's almost like they don't want us to solve problems, because if we do solve the problems, then their stupid little gripes, their little cries won't be relevant anymore. Not that they ever were, but like they'll be like, oh shit, we can't use that anymore. We can't use this excuse anymore to drive forward our narrative. We have to make something else up. And maybe that's what Black Lives Matter UK are doing. But
yeah, I mean, with feminism, Black Lives Matter, I mean, there is a good idea, or what it's founded on is actually noble, but what it actually is totally different. Because I always see these people use feminism as equality, social, economical, and whatever it is they use for women, but it's not that right now, because we have intersectionality, and we see all this crap happening with the feminist thing, and even Black Lives Matter, where they founded it because of police violence. Is there a problem with police violence? Of course there is. Like Cenk Uygur says, of course. Right. No, they're not talking about that they are advocating for dead cops. You seen the clips, pigs in a blanket and all that crap, and instead of actually going to the police, having a conversation with them, talking about police violence and all that crap, to stop and frisk, whatever it is, to try and talk to the police and find solutions, you're just screaming at them and calling them for basically killers, baby killers, or whatever, racist. And instead of having the conversation, you're making it worse. The relations between communities worse.
Yeah, exactly. And whether that's intentional or not, I don't know. I don't think it is. Maybe I think it's definitely unintentional. But like, they've got to realize, like when people say racial tensions, I mean, maybe in America especially, like racial tensions are like really, like, you know, really shit right now. And despite Black Lives Matter, despite all this stuff, I mean, they could probably write that off as like, oh, because we live in a white supremacist, even though we've got a black president and a black secretary general, and a black secretary of education, and a black secretary of transportation, and a black secretary of homeland security. But yeah, like I mean, maybe some people have to realize that. Some people have to realize that this is happening. Like, there's got to be some people. I reckon the people who are at the top probably don't, or I don't know. I obviously we could never know. We could never read their minds. But like, I don't know. It's whether they know what they're doing or not. I don't know. Like, maybe they just rationalize. Maybe they know it, but they kind of rationalize it in their kind of with their current narrative. Or something, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if it's intentional, but there are certainly people within the I wouldn't call it an organization, because there are leaders within the Black Lives Matter. I would call it an organization, because you have I don't know if you heard about the Carrie Gaines, whatever her name is, because the whole mentality of her, she used a baby as a human shield while calling cops racist and all that shit, while having a shotgun aiming at them. And it stems from this mentality that the police is there only there to kill her, and she's actually contributing to that, because she's escalating the situation, and in the end she got killed and her son got injured.
And it's so sad, because I think she had 2 kids, and it's so sad because now 2 kids. I can hear myself echoing. But now there's 2 kids now that don't have a mum. can hear myself echoing. It's so
Uh,
annoying. There's 2 kids now that do not have a
it's
mum
probably,
anymore, all because she did this. I think maybe she had mental problems. Like it sounded like it anyway. And going back to Young Turks, well, they covered this, and they still had a spin on it. And what made it even worse is that they realised that the woman had a shotgun, went to shoot the cops. She did try to shoot the cops, and she was being aggressive. She was being that, but they still put their aggressive slant on it. So you look at them and go, where the fuck do you draw the line, Young Turks? Where do you, or just regressives? Because we all know Young Turks is pretty much the regressive Fox News. Like the regressives get their news from Young Turks. Where do they draw the line between this woman, this death was justified and this wasn't? It's amazing. Like they'll say, they'll have their, I don't know whether it's the right word, but like the right phrase, but like they want to have their cake and eat it.
well, they always start out their news very disingenuously. The cops were there because of parking tickets and because she resisted arrest. And because I saw the video, I think yesterday or the day before, and they continued saying that they had a stand-up for 6 fucking hours where she aimed a gun at them. And it probably, because I don't know, because I don't have any evidence, but they basically said, oh, they should have lasted even longer because they were so trigger happy that they had to wait for 6 hours to release or shoot someone. Do you know how mentally challenging it is when you shoot someone?
Mm.
People aren't fucking monsters.
Hmm.
And if they waited 6 fucking hours to actually do something, I say that's actually pretty patient to shoot someone. And you see this with all these stories. Oh, there was someone selling cigarettes or selling CDs or just having a hood or being in a park and being and they got shot. It's so disingenuous, and it's fueling people with anger, ignorance, and getting more people killed with this sort of retarded shit.
Mm.
And it frustrates me to see. I mean, here in Scandinavia, that doesn't really happen. But seeing a documentary, because there were Norwegian reporters in Sweden. I can't remember the little town, but they call it Little Mogadishu, because it's become so bad. They wanted to interview a economist. He's not even, he doesn't have any stake or political view on migration, but he said that Sweden has problem with integration, and the economy is going to take a hit because of it. And they started to harass the reporter and the guy, and they had to flee, even though the police were there at first. They disappeared, and they had to basically flee. And they did the same thing towards Australian reporter team, where they were there, and police were there for a little while, but when they disappeared, they got run over, they got rocks thrown at them, and they had to run away.
Jesus.
Why are people are just fueling this ignorant shit?
It's you'd like to think that it would, like, it's gonna get better, but I think at least for the next 10 years or so, like, it's gonna get progressively worse. And then I don't know, I don't sound pessimistic or anything, but it's unbelievable. And you just sometimes you feel like you just have to, sometimes you feel like sitting and watching, but then at the same time you think, like, I feel like you should do something, someone should do something about it, because it's there, the signs are there, but no one's doing anything about it. In fact, people are covering for it because they don't want to be, and maybe that's because they don't want to be seen as racist, or because or racist or Islamophobic or sexist or whatever. And yeah. All we can do now is, like, make videos well, not that it won't make much difference, but maybe it will one day. But like you make it, what we have to do, everyone from the smallest YouTuber to, you know, Sargon of Akkad, we to make these videos to point out these kind of things, and then spread it around, because, you know, this is how you get it out there. And you know, YouTube's becoming, some things on YouTube, I mean, maybe I'm thinking too much about YouTube here, but like, because YouTube's it's turning people into like news outlets, it's turning people into journalists. So I mean, maybe all this, like, you know, pointing these things out, pointing Black Lives Matter out, pointing feminism out, maybe in the long run that might actually help people. But
Yeah,
maybe at the same time,
I also think it's very strange when you're actually honest and show evidence and try to speak the truth. You get labeled a sexist, bigot, racist, whatever, and it's
truth is right.
Living in these times that you can't actually be honest, because I've experienced this. I've commented on Facebook. I've received backlash because I was too truthful, to say it. So now in quotation marks. And now I've refrained. I've made a sock account where I actually do express my opinions on Facebook and stuff like that, because having being honest these days is I don't know, kind of dangerous, and you get dogpile on all that crap, which is really strange to be honest, because I know it's the current year 2016, but we have internet and all these things. I would think we would have progressed with information, evidence, and facts, that we would be able to have honest conversations. But it seems to have the opposite effects on someone.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I mean, as well, you've got on saying like, oh, we make all these videos, and, you know, get the information out there. But like, there are people, like, our social media platforms like YouTube, like Twitter, like Facebook, that are really, you know, cracking down on certain things, or like clearly showing a political bias in certain things. So even going away from optimism to pessimism. Fuck. Wait for that call. Someone answer the phone. Answer the phone. Right. As I was saying, yeah. So maybe I'm going away from optimism towards pessimism, but maybe as these Black Lives Matter and feminists get even more power, these platforms aren't going to be, you know, are going to be even worse for people. Like, for example, YouTube used to be called Broadcast Yourself. That would mean broadcast you, the real you, your opinions. Now they don't have that anymore. I don't think they. I think I don't. I might be wrong on that, but like, I think that's right. YouTube, but yeah, and like on the thing on the old one, like it used to say broadcast yourself, but now it's just broadcast the person that we want you to be based on our political opinions. And so that's kind of my pessimism coming in, that, like, you know, despite us putting these videos and putting out the facts and putting out these truth bombs things, these social platforms might, you know, turn to even more like towards us, and, you know, say fuck you and your opinions, your cis heterophobic or whatever ism they have. And yeah, and just, you know, fuck it all over for everyone, and then and at the same time lie that they're like this, you know, they want this intellectual diversity, they want this exchange of ideas, they want this free marketplace of ideas, when they couldn't be further from the opposite. And hopefully maybe this will then, maybe it's already starting now, but like maybe this will cause people to move on to other things, like maybe the next YouTube, the next Twitter, the next Facebook. Hang on a sec.
All right. Yeah. That's what I think what Otterface is actually saying. With uh, people are gonna migrate to other places. I mean, we're seeing Twitter right now is doing dying a slow death uh, with their Twitter and safety console. And there are new platforms. A Sea Lion Club, I think, was going to be
Yeah, it is good, but it's
to
never really
the
gonna compete. I mean, that's obvious, really. Like no one's really thinking that it
yeah,
might.
it's don't know if it's gonna compete. I think we're gonna close down the stream. I'm gonna not gonna keep you too long, but
Okay.
kind of the last kind of big topic. What do you see kind of for the next few years? Do you because I'm not really ignorant. I'm kind of a realist when it comes to
Yeah,
stuff like
same.
this, but what do you see like happening in the next few years regarding this entire left idealism? I mean, the extreme right is gonna counter this if this continues. What do you expect for the next few years?
I think I kind of hold that sort of slightly optimistic idea of it's going to get darker before it gets better. But I don't know. With Black Lives Matter coming over here, I think there'll be a lot more tensions coming up. Like a lot more of that's going to be in the discussion, and a lot more tensions are going to go up, and it's going to really I'm not saying it's going to be like civil war, because that's way too far, but it's definitely going to, in the next 10 years, I'd say it's going to raise the tensions a lot more. A lot of these social justice warrior kids who were protesting might, if they have the connections, if they have the parents that might give them that power, they might then become the people who control things, and that agenda is going to like really be pushed. And that's kind of how I see it. Although we could also say that like there are loads of young people that are fighting against this kind of thing, and will grow up to perhaps to fight against these people. But I'd see it getting slightly worse. But I think that'll come to a point, and then eventually people will start like rising up, and all that, because they've never, like, for all this feminism stuff, they've got more and more powerful. Black Lives Matter getting so much coverage, getting more and more and more and more power, and so yeah, with feminism as well, they get headlines at the Guardian, not headlines, but they get columns at the Guardian, they get all these kind of things, and yeah, I see them getting a lot of power, and sadly them using it willingly, and that's going to create tensions. Sadly, I hope, hopefully it won't. But yeah, like I said, I'm kind of trying to be as realistic as possible. But yeah.
Yeah, I kind of think the same, but the issue here is that their rhetoric is pretty spot on, because the politicians are listening. I mean, how many times have we heard the wage gap from politicians who believe that crap, even though it's been debunked that many times? And politicians are repeating. I mean, for Christ's sake, President Obama repeated this crap. I don't know if it was during an interview or just a speech. And their rhetoric right now, and he even endorsed Black Lives Matter. Their rhetoric right now is pretty spot on, because politicians are listening to them, at least on the left side. Kind of scary, to be honest.
It is scary. Like, it is genuinely scary. But just have to see what happens. Keep doing what you're doing. I'll keep doing what I'm doing. Everyone else keep doing what they're doing, and hopefully we'll push them back. We'll push them back, guys. Hopefully.
Yeah, because if that comes here and actually starts to become a thing, I'm gonna become politically involved with some party, which I agree with, because I refuse to let that happen, to be honest.
Yeah, because I've always wanted to be a politician as well, and so like I would definitely go along that path as well. But yeah, to see what happens.
All right. I think we're gonna leave it there. So I know people don't wanted us to keep on talking, but I think we would kind of repeat ourselves
Yeah.
unless there was something very specific. So I just wanted to give you share your channel so people can check you out. You do streams and videos, and I really like your content, so that's why I also wanted to have you on. So if people want to check Otterface out, you have the links in the comment section below, and her Twitter if you want to follow her. So anything else you want to?
I'd be repeating myself, really. I mean, like, I can shill. You've already shilled me, so I can't shill myself. The Ottoman Empire is gonna rise, and otters are oppressed systemically by bears, wolves, and lemurs. There you go. There you go.
I saw on the chat Omega saying you have a gravity to attracting black dicks or something like that. He said.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Yeah, I love that black dick. Yeah, every day, all day. I mean, not enough hours in the day, so. You know, I mean, but I like a bit of everything. I'll do anyone, whatever. I mean, I've got a boyfriend, so, you know, I'll stick with him for a while. No, I'll stick with him forever. He's got an alright dick. But yeah, it's all good. Thanks, Amigon. I love you so much. Campaign for president and all that.
All right. I'm going to kill the stream then. So, yeah, thanks everyone for watching.